Welcome, people, to my recap of UFC 328 Chimaev versus Strickland. What a card this was. Some absolute bangers in here, some fight of the year contenders, and one of the biggest underdog wins in UFC history. Let's get into it. I think it's better to just start off with the main event. Khamzat Chimaev loses his O to Sean Strickland. He lost his O to Sean Strickland. Do you know how crazy that is? This guy has lost so much aura now that he's not undefeated. And for Sean Strickland, this is huge for his legacy. Like, absolutely huge. When he undeservedly lost his belt to Dricus, I thought after that fight it was going to be very, very hard for him to even get back to a title shot again. Not only has he had two since then, but he's actually regained the belt. Probably better than the first time he won it. I feel like this win against Khamzat is a much better win against Izzy. To shut down his grappling, to outbox him on the feet with just fucking jabs. Dude, this is such a good win. And he looked really good. He really, really impressed me. Round 2 was probably his best round. He stuffed takedowns, 2 of them. He reversed him on one of them. And if it shows it here, oh, it doesn't. But he had 2 minutes and 33 seconds of control time in round 2. How loud my house was seeing Khamzat on bottom position against Strickland for 2 minutes straight. This is never before seen territory. This is probably the best rounds somebody has ever produced against Khamzat, without a shadow of a doubt. I've never seen someone look so smooth. He also wobbled him with the right hand as well. It was a bit hard to see, but there's a video that shows it better. You can see Khamzat go limp a wee bit. But his poker face hit it really, really well. I thought round 3 and 4 were really, really close rounds. They were the 2 rounds that were really close. I think round 3 was definitely Strickland's, and round 4 you could probably edge it to Khamzat. Obviously round 1, we know who won round 1. That was the Khamzat onslaught. That was the best Khamzat of the fight, was the first round. Controlled Strickland, had him on his back, 4 minutes and 40 seconds of control time. But I think we need to really credit Strickland on how well he actually done in the first round. To have Khamzat on your back for 3 minutes and barely get a submission attempted on you. I think there was one scary bit where he kind of had his neck for a split second, but his wrestling defense in this fight, Strickland, was really, really impressive. Khamzat just had nothing for him. And that's the thing with Khamzat. If he can't control you with the grappling, he's going to lose. He's going to gas out. And this fight reminded me so much, when we got to round 4, this reminded me so much of the Usman fight. In the Usman fight, it was going the same. Khamzat borderline 10-8s him in the first round. Second round, the momentum starts to shift in round 2 and 3. Of course, it was a bit more dominant this round 2 than Usman's round 2, but the premise is still the same. But this time round, there was the extra 2 rounds. And that, I think, is what stole this fight for me. The fact that there was an extra 2 rounds. I think that DDP fight really gave us a false sense of security to, maybe Khamzat does have good cardio. Maybe he does have 5-round cardio. The difference is in that fight, he had nothing to do. He was just laying on him. He wasn't really trying to go for submissions. He had him in a crucifix one time, but he wasn't really going for anything. He wasn't expending any energy because Dricus was just letting him just baby him, basically. Strickland was actually trying to defend his takedowns and get up, and he was outstruck as well. I mean, that jab ate him up. And to be fair to Khamzat, he had some success on the feet as well. But Strickland, mate, he's one of the best strikers in the UFC. He's one of the best strikers in the UFC. His striking IQ is so high level because he spars so much. He's actually really, really good. Like, if he gets another title defense, if he actually defends his belt in this tenure, we could be talking about him as one of the best middleweights of all time, if he isn't already. Like, I'm going to take a second just to talk about, like, Strickland's resume, because he's got some really good wins. Obviously, beating Khamzat, really, really good win. Beating Israel Adesanya at that time, really, really, really good win. Beating Costa, good win. It's aging well, and it will age well, because Costa's going to do really well at light heavyweight. He got robbed against Dricus. That should have been a win. Got robbed against Cannonier. Should have been a win. He destroyed Imavov. People forget this. He destroyed Imavov on like a week's notice. 50-45'd him. And that is a win that's obviously gone on to age well. He's got some really, really good wins in the middleweight division. You know, he's been around for ages. And only now we're starting to see the championship pedigree that this guy has. I mean, yeah, me personally, I scored this 3-2 Strickland. First round was Khamzat. Second round was Strickland. Third round was Strickland. Fourth round was Khamzat. And fifth round was Strickland. I think the last 3 rounds were really, really close. I think round 1 was clear Khamzat. Round 2 was clear Strickland. From then on, it got a bit closer. But I would honestly make the argument that 4-1 Strickland is more likely than 3-2 Khamzat. Because it's not that crazy to give Strickland round 4. It really isn't. But it's because of how close it was. You know, we're seeing a lot of guys. I'm actually seeing a lot less guys say that Khamzat got robbed. Because he didn't. I think if Khamzat had got given the decision, that would have been another robbery for Strickland. Because he's been in so many split decisions that he's been robbed so many times. He got robbed against Cannonier, robbed against Dricus. You know, so many robberies in this guy's career. But finally, the split decision has given him some hope. He's prevailed the split decision. He's mastered it. He's become one with the 48-47. What a fight, man. What a fight. Definitely delivered. But honestly, that was not real beef. They're just trying to sell the fight. You know, I saw something that Strickland said. I'm pretty sure. I don't know if this is real, but he said the entire beef was fake. I don't really believe that. There was animosity. But for them to touch gloves twice, 3 times actually in the space of 30 seconds. They touched twice in front of Herb Dean, and then they touched gloves at the start of the first round. Crazy. After all that, let's just touch gloves. And we're talking about, Khabib McGregor-ish, like, this is a crazy beef, McGregor-Poirier, like, they hate each other. Just for them to go touch gloves. And, you know, we weren't going to see Conor McGregor, you know, wrap the belt around Khabib. That was real beef. Khamzat wraps the belt around Sean Strickland. And we're supposed to be convinced that this was a real beef. Obviously, I like to see this mutual respect between the fighters. Obviously, that's nice to see. But I don't know, man. I don't know. I feel like they kind of beefed it, they faked it, just to sell it off to the fans. Anyway, moving on. That's enough about this one. Let's move on to what I think is a fight of the year contender. Guys, if you're watching this and you're one of those people in the past that have said, I hate flyweight. Flyweight's terrible. But dude, these guys are just small. They put on boring fights. Get proved wrong. You've been proved wrong. Joshua Van versus Tatsuro Taira, one of the fights of the year. Josh Van, never in a boring fight, man. He beat the paper champ allegations. If he'd lost his belt here, paper champ all the way. But this was such a good win. This guy is one of the best boxers in the UFC. He is so good when it comes to just boxing in the pocket. And, you know, his range control as well. His IQ for only, how old is he, like 23 years old? Is so good. Is so good. You know, Taylor tried to make this a snooze fest. Tried to just lay him prey. But Van managed to get up. He dropped him really, really bad in round 2. I mean, the picture of Taylor's chin just bashing on his chest. He was out. He was out. He was out as he was going down, and he woke up to the thudding, like the impact of the floor woke him up. So that fight could have been done in round 2. Genuinely could have been. Round 3, in my opinion, was a 10-8 to Josh Van. He nearly finished him quite a few times. He took him down, had tried to go for rear nakeds on him, outstruck him, 2 knockdowns. I feel like this round is a 10-8 to Van. Obviously, it doesn't matter because he got the finish anyway. But let's talk about the finish, actually. The body shots, ripping the body. Because you could tell Tatsuro Taira was kind of fading a wee bit. You could tell. And apparently he said, you know, his coach told him, you know, let's go to the body. Man, Van vs Pantoja 2 is gonna be a banger. It's gonna be so good. It's gonna be so good. I cannot wait. There was like 20 significant strikes thrown in the first 16 seconds of the first one before it was obviously, you know, what happened. But man, Joshua Van just seems to be built for these championship fights. I really didn't think he would be. I thought, you know, when he was coming up, he was beating Ray Cerruya, he was beating Bruno Silva. I thought eventually someone's going to stop him. And I thought that would be Brandon Royval, but he seems to just be made for these moments. He seems to just be made for these fights. And some prospects are like that. You know, this guy's not a prospect anymore. He's the fucking flyweight champion of the world, but get where I'm coming from. I think if he manages to beat Pantoja in the rematch, I think it's going to be very, very difficult to dethrone this guy. Because the guys lined up are all strikers, mainly. You know, Manel Cap, striker. Horiguchi, mainly a striker. Good grappler, but he'll probably stand up. Lanier Kavanagh, striker. Like, it's just strikers. There's not really that big of a grappling threat at flyweight, which is great for Josh Van because he did show a bit of grappling weakness in this fight. Or maybe that's just because Taira's a really good grappler. I don't know. That is probably the case. But he dealt with the adversity and got the finish, which is all that matters. And still, he's defended it. So fair play to Joshua Van. Moving on. Alexander Volkov versus Waldo Cortez Acosta. I made a video on TikTok the other day, and I said that Alexander Volkov was the greatest fighter to never win a belt. I still stand by that. And that is just another win to add to his resume. How this guy has never fought for the title before is crazy. It feels like he's always been number 2 or number 3 ranked. Forever, ever since he got to the UFC. He's so solid, and he's extremely underrated. And Waldo is good. He did have some success. You know, I feel like Volkov, obviously he was backing up the entire time, which is why people thought this was a robbery. I personally had it 29-28 Volkov. But Volkov was landing with the more volume. Waldo was landing with the more kind of damaging punches. And for me, I favor volume more than, you know, impact. Personally. Like, I would rather land 5 punches than land 1 big punch. Like, this fight felt like Waldo was taking 5 to hit a big one. That's what it felt like. And that's why I thought he didn't win. I think Waldo will bounce back, though. Although I do feel like he's a bit overrated. You know, his wins are all just knocking out blobs, right? Derek Lewis, Shamil Gaziev. Ante Delija was just a bit of a weird one. You know, the 2 losses, Pavlovich and Volkov, 2 actually solid heavyweights. There's a pattern here. There's a real pattern here. But for Volkov, this is huge. This is huge for him. I would really not be surprised if he got a title shot next, although that would probably mean he waits a long time, which I don't think he's going to do. Because Pereira and Garner fight each other for the interim title. The winner of that's obviously going to fight Tom Aspinall. Actually, you wouldn't need to wait that long. You probably would, actually. I would assume the winner of that fight at the White House would go and fight Aspinall at the end of the year. Especially if Pereira wins, he would definitely make the quick turnaround. Volkov will probably have to fight someone else. Maybe a winner of Josh Hockett versus Derek Lewis or something like that. Or maybe even the winner of Delager versus Walker. Something like that. You know, the heavyweight matchmaking gets a bit crazy sometimes. We've got Sergey Pavlovich fighting Taliesin Teixeira, right? But this was a really, really good win for Alexander Volkov. Right. Moving on. My least favourite fight of the card. What the fuck is that build for Buckley? I've never realised how weirdly he was built. Look at the leg ratio to his fucking upper body. Oh my god. But man, if you don't know, Joaquin Buckley is one of my favourite fighters. That was painful. That was painful. Sean Brady 30-25's Joaquin Buckley. Man, that was tough. That was tough. But, looking on the bright side, Sean Brady is really good. He is really good. To be able to just take down and control a guy as strong and as stocky and as experienced in the grappling as Joaquin Buckley, that is impressive, man. That is really impressive. Look at the discrepancy in total strikes for this fight. 245-21. That is incredible. Obviously, two of the judges scored this 30-25. One of them scored it 30-27. I personally had it 30-25, unfortunately, obviously, because I love him. But, I mean, that Michael Morales one is aging really well. Aging really, really well. Jeez. But, yeah. I think Sean Brady, after this, it's not that crazy to say that he's got the most dangerous grappling in the in the welterweight division, bar Islam Makhachev. I don't think that's crazy to say. If there's anyone that's going to give Islam the most problems in this division in terms of the grappling, it's Sean Brady. Definitely. He is so strong. He's so skilled in the grappling. He's done this before. He done this to Leon as well. And that fight was like borderline, like, if that went to decision, it would have been like 50-42. Like, bad. Like, and he can finish the fights as well. Like, he obviously finished Leon. Sean Brady's really, really good, man. And there was a reason he was the number one guy at one point. Let's move on. I don't really want to talk about Buckley losing anymore. King Green beating Jeremy Stephens. This is the last one I'm going to go into like crazy in depth for. I'll kind of just briefly cover the prelims and the early prelims as well. But Robert Green. When he's fighting someone that's the same age as him, he's different gravy. Okay? This is why you put Unk in Unk. You don't put Unk in fucking 21-year-old prospect. It's not going to work. Right? Apparently, because he didn't get the bonus, he's going to get custom shorts now, Bobby Green, which is a bit interesting. I wonder what they're going to look like. But, yeah, I mean, he absolutely, unsurprisingly, he absolutely destroys Jeremy Stephens, who I am very surprised is still fighting in the UFC, if I'm being honest. Very, very surprised. He looked awful. Just retire. I cannot believe he's not retired yet. Like, he's like, what is his record? Like 29-22? Pitiful. I don't know why he's decided to come back to the UFC. He should have just stuck to bare knuckle. That was fine. Bare knuckle was fine for you. I don't know why you've decided to come back to the UFC. That was not a good idea. And he's been dominated again by King Green. Good win for him. Let's not get too carried away. It's just Jeremy Stephens. He'll probably lose his next fight. But, yeah. First round. It was just... Yeah, it was just sad to watch if you're one of the 5 Jeremy Stephens fans that exists in the world. Right, moving on to the prelims. I'm just going to scave through these kind of briefly. I'll go in depth with some of them. Ateba Gautier versus Ozzy Diaz. This was only going to win one way, and it was Ateba Gautier flatlining Ozzy Diaz. I'm not surprised. Ozzy Diaz is trash. But one thing that's really impressing me about Ateba Gautier is his fight IQ. Because when he first got into the UFC, I kind of saw him as one of those guys who was just going to rely on his power to get him through fights. And, you know, he'll run in all impatient. He was really patient in this fight. And he found his shots. He found the finishing blow perfectly. That's what I like about him. He's got to be given an actual decent opponent this time. Ozzy Diaz is a can. He's not good, right? He's one of those guys where you just look at their appearance and know that he's terrible. You can look at this fight and look at the build of Gautier and the build of Diaz, and you know how this was going to end. It was only going to end one way. He called out Israel Adesanya. I don't know if we can go that far, Ateba. I would love to see it personally. But I don't know if the UFC would want to put Izzy through another KO loss again. That would definitely be sad. I think Ateba Gautier against someone, you know, a bit higher up in the unranked middleweight territory to maybe fight for a top 15 spot would be nice. Or maybe test his grappling against a Roman Dolidze. That would also be quite cool. But he has to be given someone half decent. He has to be given someone who will actually give him a go. That's my opinion on that. Joel Alvarez versus Yaroslav Amosov. This guy's good, man. This guy's good. If you know me, you know how big I am on Joel Alvarez, and he was stopped. He was shut down completely by Amosov. This guy is good, man. He's one of the best grapplers. I'm actually going to take back what I said about Sean Brady in terms of the grappling threat to Islam. Amosov is definitely up there. And he will be up in the top 5, top 8 in no time. He's really, really skilled in the grappling sense of things. Obviously, he gets the submission win here against Joel Alvarez. It was a perfect arm triangle that makes Alvarez tap almost immediately. And he breakdances. That was something cool that he brought out. I never knew Amosov could Fortnite dance, but that is 2 submission wins for Amosov. Now you're going to probably assume that he's going to get someone definitely of higher pedigree up the welterweight rankings. I can't really think of anybody off the top of my head, but it's definitely going to be someone that will catapult him up into the rankings. Next up, Grant Dawson versus Mateusz Rebecki. Dawson, another submission win. It was a decent scrap, actually. I actually liked this fight. It was a decent scrap while it lasted. And Dawson gets the submission win. There's not really much to talk about here. But actually, there is one thing. I want to give my flowers to Mateusz Rebecki. This guy is always in bangers. Every time I see Mateusz Rebecki on a card, I want to tune in. He always puts on fantastic fights. His fight versus Ludovic Klein was fantastic. His fight versus Miktabek Orobai is one of my favourite fights of all time. He always puts on absolute bangers. I love you, Rebecki. I love you, man. Next up, Jim Miller versus Jared Gordon. Yeah. I mean, first round submission for Jim Miller. Good win for him at 42 years old. Still going strong. It's hard. It's hard to be a lightweight in the UFC at 42 years old and still get wins. He makes Paddy Pimblett look really bad. After that, of course, Jared Gordon should have beat Paddy Pimblett. That should be a loss on Pimblett's resume. But yeah, man, it was nice to see Jim Miller get another win. And he didn't retire, which means he's still planning on getting more fights, which is really fun to see. Right, early prelims. Anything I want to talk about here? I mean, actually, I want to just say something here about Chimaev. Obviously, he gets the submission win. I think this guy is incredibly overrated. We're talking about this guy as a prospect in the middleweight division. I do not see what you guys are seeing at all with Bizinger or Chimaev. Is it just because he's Russian? Like, what are you seeing? He's like a half-decent striker. He's got okay grappling. Like, I doubt this guy's going to go any far in the middleweight division. He's only been put up against absolute, like, bums. Like Jordan Santos. Jordan Santos lost to Ozzy Diaz, guys. Come on, man. Come on. I will change my mind if Chimaev beats someone of actual, like, reward. Someone who's actually decent. But for now, I don't rate him. I don't rate him. That, however, is going to do my UFC 328 recap. In terms of picks, I went 9-4. Not too bad, not terrible. You can see those picks on my TikTok. But, yeah. This was, in terms of card rating, I'm going to give this a solid 8.2 out of 10. This was a really, really good card. I actually really enjoyed it. There was a couple sleepers. Pat Sabatini on the early prelims. The Brady vs. Buckley fight obviously was not fun for a Buckley fan's perspective. But the main and co-main absolutely delivered. The prelims were really, really good. I think there was a finish in every single one of the prelims. Yeah, a finish in every single one of the prelims. The prelims were class. This was a good card. I'm going to bump it up to an 8.9, actually. This was a really, really good card. It definitely delivered in how stacked it was. Please like, comment what you think. I will see you all next time.